All right, let's go ahead and get into it. The Portland Trail Blazers, owner of the third pick in the draft, 23rd pick, 43rd pick, free agents of Grant, Reddish, and Thibault, blue chip prospect of Shaden Sharp, which they have already stated that they're not going to trade. Two trade exceptions and all of the available exceptions with, I believe, some cap space if they let certain guys go. So the story of the Blazers offseason is simple. What are they going to do with Dame Lillard? I think he's kind of hinted that it's over. CJ McCollum was on ESPN today saying that he predicts that Dame won't be there. Dame has talked something that came out on Showtime, I believe was yesterday, about him wanting to go to Miami because Bam is his friend, or maybe Brooklyn because Mikal Bridges is his friend, but not Miami if they win the title. He's just talking in terms of not like someone who's planning on staying, but someone who's looking for other options and is ready to move on. I think this is the best option for the Portland Trail Blazers. If you're a Trail Blazers fan, the truth of the matter is the next time they build a contender around Dame would be the first time they build a contender around Dame. They have not been in it in this Portland Trail Blazer era with Dame Lillard as their best player. They've never been a part of the championship conversation. They went to one conference finals, which they got swept. I just don't think they've ever been there. So the idea that you're trying to maximize Dame Lillard's prime, I mean, was just utterly fanciful. Like this idea, like he's LeBron or Dirk or Steph Curry. Like he's a great player. You know, comparison is the thief of joy, and not trying to steal any joy away from Portland fans, but he's just not of that caliber of that player because they would have made a run if he would have at least a run to the finals. Um, at least a run where you felt like there was a real chance that you could win the title. And I just don't think anyone looking at it with any type of objectivity could say that. So I think the best thing that you can do for him, say, hey, Dan, we love you. Give us a list of the teams that we want you to send us to, and we will not bleed the other team in trade demands. Um, the truth of the matter, if you really look at it just with, again, an objective eye, Dame's contract is going to be a very big problem going down the road with the new CBA. Him in those last few years making 60 million in his 35 and 36-year-old season. I mean, I just that's going to be a tough pill for anybody to swallow. But so maybe they could just look at it and it's like, hey, give us matching salary, we'll give you a pick. So the two teams that he mentioned, Miami, you could fit Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson into a trade straight up for Dame. You know, maybe add a pick into that. Now, once again, he said that he's not going to go to Miami if they win the title. I actually think Miami's going to pull out this series. So um, it would be more like Brooklyn. And Brooklyn makes a lot of sense because Brooklyn has a lot of picks. They have a lot of players. They got all the picks that they got from the Kevin Durant trade. They got two picks from the Harden trade. They got a pick from the Kyrie Irving trade. So they have a lot of picks and a lot of 3D wings, which you can then spin off and trade to other places. So, you know, a trade maybe just involving just Ben Simmons contract and then attaching maybe three or four or maybe all of those picks that they got from Phoenix to, you know, see if maybe that's something that you would, not all of them, but attach a couple of them and get this done. And then, you know, from the Brooklyn perspective, you can go ahead and try to build around Dame and Mikal Bridges. I don't think that's a contender either, but let them worry about that. That's not your problem anymore. Uh, Portland side of the ball, I mean, they're in the catbird position in the draft. They just take whoever is remaining. If Brandon Miller's on the board, you take him. If Scoot Henderson's on the board, you take him. If you look at teams like compared to a Houston or even a team like maybe Detroit, you could say that, in all honesty, that Portland might be in a better position with a young player like Shaden Sharp, with a young player like Simons, who's under a reasonable contract. I'm a fan of Nazir Little, so we'll see what happens to him. They have the bird rights on Thibault. He played, fairly well for them. So they're actually in a good spot. So I think that this is the best thing for everybody is to go ahead and move Dame along and rebuild around whoever you take in this draft. Let's see how far their wings can stretch. Let's see how far Shaden Sharp's wings can stretch. You can, move Simons along. Maybe if he's not part of your plans, he's a shooter. Maybe it's probably hard playing him in the backcourt with Shaden Sharp at the same time, but you probably could get something of real value for him and really embrace the rebuild down there. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. I respond to all the comments. Subscribe, and as always, the game is a game.